I may have just spoiled something for you then.
Oh, everyone's been telling me anyway. Like I know how. Like Jon Snow dies, but comes back. Is essentially what happens in Tiger King.
You'll watch Stranger Things?
I haven't seen
season 3. Fantastic show, Doobie. Fantastic show.
It just finished not too long ago.
Why do you keep messing with your ears? What's wrong?
Who?
Grayson. You're bugging me.
I just take them out when you say something.
Put that one on the blooper reel. Let everybody see that, Doobie.
Hey, Doobie, can I introduce everyone? I've been working on it.
Would you like to introduce? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm the wheeling dealing.
As the introducer.
Diamond ring wearing.
Kiss stealing.
Wheeling dealing. Son of a gun.
Lost exotic.
Now I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down.
Holding these ugly ass shoes down.
All right. Are we starting?
Whenever you guys are ready. Grayson, you ready?
Hey,
any questions before we begin?
Have you been recording this whole time? Because
yes, he has. This is the blooper reel.
The blooper reel usually is kind of fun.
It's pretty funny. I always wanted to post it.
Yeah, it's way better than. Hey, can you have a private YouTube or just?
Yes, it's on
like
private.
A vague or like 601 outtakes. Okay, cool. I don't know how to get to it if I want to show someone, but
you need a link.
In the arms of an angel.
F that song.
Fly away. That's Jerry.
No, it's not. I hate that song.
All right, we're going live, boys.
All right.
We're going live.
5, 4, 3, 2. You're on.
All right, welcome back. Episode 2 of the CrossFit 601 sessions. We have a guest today, but first I'll introduce my fellow, what do you call him, hosts? We have Sean Doobie. Great guy.
Hello.
We have the man, the myth, the face of radio. Face only a mother could love, Jared. We have Gray Baby, Crash and Burn. Everyone else calls him Coach Grayson. Welcome to the show, folks.
Thanks,
That's
Ross.
it. Everyone say something.
That's good. Thanks, Ross.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 2. Happy to be here. Kind of first official episode with our first guest, Grayson, Grumpy Grayson. So one, thank you for being here, Grayson. I know your time is very valuable and it was hard to schedule, but we appreciate you being here. I know. You're very busy lately.
Thank you for taking time out of your day.
Out of my quarantine status. It's okay.
Today I kind of want to get into, or we wanted to get into, talking about mainly Grayson, his story. Kind of not a lot of people know where he came from or his history or how the gym started. So really want to start there. Are you guys good with that?
That sounds awesome. And a shout out to our sponsors, all 3 of us again. So if any of you fine listeners or subscribers on our YouTube channel or our podcast listeners want to go and be a sponsor, be the first sponsor, all you have to do is either give me, Ross, or Sean a case of FitAid, $5, or maybe a shout out on social media, and you could be considered a sponsor. Wouldn't you want us fine folks sponsored? We would love to have you, people. Love to have you.
While we're on that topic, before we get into I'm going to be emailing everyone. I'm talking Rogue. I'm talking Victory Grits. I'm going to go down the list and just send them everything I used to try to get sponsorship. They're not doing anything right now, I guarantee you. So someone should take my emails, I'm guessing. Probably
even though Rogue's backed up 3 days in shipping, they're not doing anything.
Yeah, they're probably not doing anything.
Did you even say the name of the podcast, by the way?
We're part of the 601 sessions. I don't know if we said that before or not, but
you did.
Amateurs, Coach. Right. Sorry, amateurs.
Right.
Episode 2.
We'll work on that. Anyways, before we get into it, what was everyone's favorite workout this week? Workout this week.
Favorite workout, Ross? You want to take that, Grayson?
All right. Was it 5 or 6 rounds of alternating dumbbells with the overhead lunges?
Yeah, you don't have to do the motions. You can just say the words. You look like the Bushwhackers.
That Can we cuss on this? That shit sucks.
It's your podcast. You can do whatever you want.
But in a good way. It was terrible, but it was.
That was my favorite workout.
Yeah,
I liked it. It was hard, but
Funnily enough, that was my favorite as well. Even though I didn't get it.
Did it take y'all like 2 minutes around too, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Okay. I got mad because it didn't have a jump rope, so it took me about 2:30 because I just ran 100 meters back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Man's getting even fitter.
Yeah.
Even fitter.
Strong. Dedicated.
I've been doing some different programming, so I cannot speak into those programmed workouts. I know y'all can hate me. I'm sorry, guys. But I did do a workout. Wrote it down. Want to give it another go. It felt like an open workout. It was 3 rounds for time. 15 overhead squats at 135, 15 bar facing burpees, and 15 cal on the bike, and it hurt. It was not a fun workout. Jerry, wake up!
Sorry. Bored to sleep again. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay.
Anyways.
Coyote.
So Grayson, thank you for being here. So let's start a little bit about you and your journey. Let's start from the way beginning. 40 years ago.
How long? 40?
Yep.
Well, my dad was still alive, Ross. So I'm not 40. Where do you want me to begin from? Where do you
want to start? Start brief, I guess, childhood. What led you into fitness? I know, like, your story about, which I don't know a lot about, but, like, your weight loss journey. You know, how you got into CrossFit, how you got into the gym, things like that. Like, where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Canton, which ironically is where I live now per my address. Grew up in Madison, though. My mom remarried when I was either 6 turning 7. I think I was 6 turning 7. So we moved to Madison, grew up there. As far as getting into fitness, I played sports and stuff growing up a little bit. More recreationally, I played football through the 10th grade, baseball in the summer, that kind of stuff. Played basketball every day at home. But I did eat a lot, I think emotionally, which I know a lot of people kind of, think is a made up response to being overweight. But I was definitely an emotional eater growing up, still a little bit now. And so I was always a little chubby. I always played enough sports. I could kind of counteract how much I ate, but I was always still a little heavy. And then when I stopped playing like football, especially in high school, slowly through high school gained a little bit of weight. And then come college, wasn't really doing anything except drinking a lot of beer and eating a lot of fast food and stuff, as we all do. But again, my activity levels were at an all-time low, like basically zero. And so I think it was going into my sophomore year. I was going to Holmes, and at that point, I knew I was overweight and kind of didn't like where I was going. So I think what happens to a lot of people is you start to, I guess, avoid the reality. So, like, not even looking in the mirror, avoiding pictures. If you are in pictures, like, you never want to see them. But thank goodness this was like way before social media, because this was, I was 19, 20 years old. So this was almost 20 years ago. Until one day, I finally weighed myself. I was at a friend's house, and for some reason, we hopped on a scale, and I was 275 pounds. And then kind of fast forward to registering for classes at Holmes. I remember, getting my ID, getting in the car, and threw it in my console because I didn't want to look at the picture. I was just like, I don't need it. Because, at Holmes, you really don't need an ID unless you're going to the bookstore, I think. Times have probably changed there. But back then, you didn't really need an ID. And I was leaving the campus, going home. I always forget the name of that street, but it runs by the fire department, goes back down to 51. Anyway, traffic's pretty backed up because everybody's leaving, coming. And, you're just kind of sitting there waiting for everybody to go through the 4-way stop at the train tracks. And for some reason, I was like, man, let me look at this. Let me look at my picture. And I remember looking at it and being like, oh, like I can't even replicate. I mean, yeah. It really hit me because, again, I've been avoiding the realization of kind of like where I was going out of embarrassment, disappointment, low self-esteem, all those things. And so I looked at that picture and decided pretty much in that moment I needed to do something. And so I went home and I told my mom, I was like, hey, I've got to join the gym. I don't know which one, where, how to go about it, because I don't think I was working at the time. And I just said, hey, if I need help, like, can you, because back then joining a gym, you were looking at like $150, $200 joining fee on top of the monthly fee. And it was pretty expensive, back in the day to join gyms. Now it's a little more accessible for people, but I ended up joining a gym right by my house. It's no longer there. It was called Fitness Depot. It was above what's still there. It's a daycare right next to Ridgecrest Baptist Church on the other side of the road. And started working out there, started dieting really hard. And over the first few months, I dropped like 25, 30 pounds. And kind of from there, it was a real slow trickle of just like losing weight. I was doing a lot of cardio. I was walking on the treadmill for 2 hours every night.
Jeez.
Then weight training. Again, dieting pretty hard. I can't really put my finger on like when I kind of hit my peak or I would say goal weight, but I can kind of say I know I got there. It wasn't like super quick because once I dropped like the initial 25 or 30 pounds, I started eating kind of, I'd say, healthier, because the initial few months I was eating basically 2 cans of tuna fish a day, and that was it. So 2 just like sun-kissed tuna, kind of mid-morning, afternoon, like that's all I was eating. And then, of course, I kind of realized, okay, this isn't really healthy or sustainable. So I started kind of following more of like a bodybuilder style diet. Because again, back then, there wasn't a lot of resources online, what we have today. And so I was reading like Flex Magazine, Men's Health, and that was kind of where I was getting my information, where some of it was good, some of it not so much. So that's how I started working out. At the time I started doing CrossFit, which was it's either March or May. I think it was March. Either one, this year will be 10 years of doing CrossFit. And so prior to CrossFit, I was just doing normal bodybuilding, the basic stuff everybody does at the gym. And I kind of got burnt out, and I was to the point where I was doing like 1 or 2 workouts a week for the sake of just going, because that old part of me that remembered being overweight was, my conscience would get to me. I would just go do something kind of, it was just kind of like just going through the motions. There's Ross looking away again.
There's a bug.
And so, and I started dating Lauren at the time. And she had been doing a lot of boot camps. And she asked me if I would do one with her. And wanting to be the good, supportive boyfriend, I was like, sure, what time are they? And she was like, oh, they're at 5 a.m. And I was like, is there any other time? And that was the only time she could go. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll do it. And she went to sign us up for it. And fortunately, it was, we were past the registration date or something, so we couldn't sign up. And she was bummed. And so I was like, well, I done this thing called CrossFit once back in Hattiesburg before I moved up here when I was in college. And I really liked it. It was really hard. But I think it's kind of like a boot camp. And so we looked into that, called the gym that we started at, scheduled our basically on-ramp. They called it fundamentals there. 3 sessions, one-on-one, kind of like what we do. And went and did that. I threw up the first day after the first workout, and did that first one, and have been doing CrossFit since. Never really took a break from it, minus, injuries, sprains, strains, vacations, and stuff like that. But that's kind of how we got into it. My initial introduction to it was a buddy of mine, Steve, who owns a gym in Hattiesburg. It's called Versus Strength and Conditioning, which Sean knows. That's where he started working out at. He was a trainer at CrossFit Hattiesburg down there, and I worked with him for a long time. He was always begging me to come try it out. He's, oh man, you'll love it. And of course, back then I'm like, oh man, that stuff just sounds crazy. Like, I'm not into that stuff. And so finally one day I was like, all right, you know what? I'll go with you after work. And we went, and he had me do Cindy just by myself, squatting to a med ball, pretty much doing strict pull-ups because I didn't know what a kip was. I did 13 rounds, which he kind of gave me some reps here and there. You know, those pull-ups, when they go, they go. And so that was my first initial kind of introduction to it. And so again, when Lauren wanted to do something like that, I suggested CrossFit. We went, did our first fundamentals class, and have been doing it ever since. So that's kind of how, I mean, I kind of feel like I rambled on and on. But prior to even my initial start to exercise and fitness, I didn't really work out much, didn't know much about it. That's kind of how I got into it. Before we opened the gym, we were members at 2717, which back then was owned by Michael McElroy, for almost 2 years. And that's when we opened our gym. So.
What year was that?
2012.
March 1st, 2012 is the day we opened. The first time Chris and I talked about it, I was actually riding with him to my bachelor party. It really wasn't like a party. We went up to a cabin kind of outside Gatlinburg and just hung out with a bunch of my friends for about 3 or 4 days. But we were driving up there. He asked me if I ever, thought about opening a gym. And I was like, hey, I mean, I don't have the money for it, but that'd be, that's definitely something I would like to do. And so we talked about it on the ride there and back. And we had a couple of contacts with some guys we thought might be interested in being investors because they did CrossFit, and they were both involved in businesses and entrepreneurship and financial stuff. And so we reached out to them, and I mean, pretty quickly, the first time we talked to them, they were like, yeah, we're in. And then it wasn't long after we had kind of gotten the money for it. And, that was November, I think it was like November 4th, 2010 or 11. Yeah. Because it was right before my wedding. And then pretty much, I think it was by January, we knew we were opening. So it happened.
It was
really
pretty quick pace.
I mean, it really did. And I know when we kind of told Mike over at his gym what we were doing, he was not very happy. Which, looking back, I kind of understand it. But, we told him as soon as we kind of found out, he was the first person we told. And then, it just kind of happened super quick, almost overnight in a way. And yes, we opened March 1st, 2012. So this March made 8 years of having the gym. So that's kind of how the gym started, very quickly. Been doing it since.
So tell me a little bit about where was the first location at the north location, and how did the south location come up? And
yeah, so
just a bunch of bad ideas.
Well, no. So we had the original location of Ridgeland, which is now Trendy Treasures.
Trendy.
We've been open for maybe not even, I don't think it was 2 years. And another friend of ours that I started doing CrossFit with and known for a couple of years at that point, 3 years plus, he was actually wanting to open an affiliate somewhere in Jackson. He had been talking with some of his other friends about opening an affiliate, but they wanted to do it out in Brandon, and he didn't. And so he kind of just told them, like, all right, you guys go do your thing. I won't worry about it. I'll figure something out. And so we talked a little bit about that, and we went in with him. Like, he came on board, and we opened south I think it was April 2013, if I'm correct, and I probably am. And so we opened South, and then we had that open for two or 3 years, maybe 3 years. I can't remember. I don't remember the official date we closed.
It was right before the 2017 Open, so that would have been like fall of 2017. Is that how it goes?
I think we closed like basically January 1st, 2017. So, and it closed because it was just wasn't doing the numbers we wanted, we needed, and it was a hard decision because we made a lot of friends. I mean, like you guys know, the people at the gym, are some of your best friends, some of the best people you've probably ever met, that I've ever met, that have had a severe impact on my life. Guys like Dave and Bo, Rod, Andy, the Saxtons, all those folks, meant a lot to us. And I still remember telling Dave, I'm getting a little teary-eyed thinking about it, the news, and, he gave me a hug and told me to be all right. So that was one of the hardest things. Like I said, I'm still get upset thinking about it. So we closed the gym. Fortunately, most of the people came on down to Ridgeland. We had a few people that went over to like CrossFit Jackson or just went about their ways. But fortunately, those people that, had been there for the longest time that we were heartbroken over letting down stayed on with us, are still with us to this day, which means a lot more than they'll probably ever know. But again, we had to close that one down because it just wasn't doing right. It just wasn't doing well. But I think kind of in the grand scheme, I wouldn't change anything because I wouldn't have met any of those guys or girls, people. So it was hard, but we did close that gym after about 3 years of. Is that a bird?
Ross's birds are going crazy. It's so distracting.
Hey! Knock that shit out, bird! We're doing a podcast.
Just Ross Exotic, everybody. If you didn't know.
So South, was open for about 3 years before we kind of finally had to call it quits. And we talked about it for a long time. Like 6-7 months. Cupid had come on as an owner in the gym at that point, and we were just looking at the numbers and everything and how everything was trending. And we knew in the long run, if we wanted to keep the gym open in any capacity, we'd have to make that hard decision. And we did, but I go back, would I do it again? Yeah. Would I probably change a few things? Absolutely. But without it, I wouldn't know a lot of people. So.
I didn't realize Nice Dave was a Southie.
He was. Dave, Andy, Ewan, Rod, Bo, trying to think. Ryan, Marla.
Could we make an exception?
William Drinkwater.
Willie D.
Ross, did you go to South?
I went to both, I guess. I don't know. I started out at North and then
Greg. I remember the first time.
Oh,
I remember the first time Greg came in for an on-ramp. He was as nice to me the first time I met him as he is now.
Bill probably had a lollipop in his hand.
No, he did not. But I still remember the first time he came in and did his on-ramp. So,
can we make one little exception? I think this would be really, really cool. In light of speaking about the South location, if we could make it to where Ryan and Marla's dog could take Ryan's membership, because that dog, we watched a video this week. If you didn't see Marla squatting with the dog, she started the trend. But that dog looks like it's in better shape than Ryan. It looks a whole lot more friendlier than Ryan. So if we could just get the dog, and that way I wouldn't have to see Ryan, that'd be just fantastic.
I don't know. I'm pretty partial to Ryan. He's probably one of my favorite.
I like
people.
Ryan. Ryan's a nice guy.
Now he's an okay guy, but
he's a great guy.
He gives too many negative comments on me and Grayson when Grayson's working in the mornings, and I'm not even there to defend myself. And Grayson did speak on that.
I'll say I'll say this.
You need to get Chris to stand up for you. All right.
Chris?
Yeah.
Chris Grayson?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get Chris to write an emotional response to Ron. He's been doing some very good responses here on social media lately.
Yeah.
So you went from a north location, which is pretty small and intimate at the time, especially the 515 class, the heavy classes. And now we're in a lot bigger location. How did that come about?
We kind of started looking at the possibility of just getting into a bigger spot. Excuse me. Our rent was, I don't know much about commercial real estate or even area, but our rent wasn't cheap. And so, Sean kind of wanted to look around, see if we could find something comparable that could be bigger, maybe looking at even possibly buying something. And for my knowledge, he had a buddy, one of his good friends that does commercial real estate, kind of started looking around, was listening out for stuff that might suit us. And I think the building we're in,
I'm on the podcast. Bye.
The building we're in,
God,
they were kind
did
of.
y'all hear that?
Yeah. Anyways,
I heard the tail end. I'm pretty sure, the cheerleading company or whatever it was, they were considering kind of closing down, possibly selling the building, but they weren't sure. And it was kind of a pretty long process as far as just the negotiations. And eventually, things worked out, and the building was purchased, and we kicked them out and moved in. But essentially, we were just looking. We knew we needed more space. As far as the way CrossFit, fitness in general, as the trends go, we needed something nicer. CrossFit started in garages, and then
it got bougie with it.
And then it moved into small warehouses, the box, if you will. Yeah. And so for the longest time, that's how I started off in a little bitty. It was almost like a 1-car garage with just concrete floors. The trend of gyms has kind of changed to, like you said, more of a boutique and nicer gym. So we basically knew we needed to kind of upgrade our facility, something nicer, more room. So we want to be able to do more, especially if we wanted to add more members. We're going to need more space. And so that's kind of the main reason we looked into it, just wanting to offer something nicer. Because again, the trend of gyms is moving into nicer facilities, maybe with central heat and air. And again, our building was super old. Wasn't much we could do with it. Our landlord offered to do some, additions and renovations, but we didn't feel like it was kind of fair as far as price-wise, what he wanted in rent and stuff. So we started looking, kind of got lucky in the end with our building, and that's kind of how that kind of came about.
Well, CrossFit North, or I'll just call it CrossFit 601. When it first started, it was drastically different than what it was when we left it. It got a lot better. It could.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the building, I think we'd always say 4,000 square feet, but I think in the end we kind of learned it was like 3,600. Because we had knocked out 2 offices. That was really all we knocked out. We actually added the
office,
one of the toilets, and added a shower. We added that office to that bay on the outside, or it used to be on the outside. So we did do a lot of things to it, but we kind of outgrown the space and just kind of determined it would be better to invest money in, our own building versus just continuing to pay rent to somebody else for kind of less than what we thought the value was worth.
I'm with you.
I definitely like the new gym. I kind of miss the old feeling of the old one, though. Maybe it's just because I grew up in that, but I love it. Like the garage door, small intimate space. I like that.
It was grungy as shit. We felt like we were doing stuff.
Now we're bougie.
Yeah, now we can't make fun of folks with air conditioning now, because that's nice.
We don't really use the air conditioning that much.
Do we not?
No, one day the air condition on one end's on and the heater's on the other end.
Yeah, there was one day I came in, I was like, man, it feels weird in here. And sure enough, the heat in the center of the gym was on, and the air conditioning by the lockers was blasting.
Probably trying to compensate.
I guess. I don't know. There's people weren't thinking. I don't know.
So with the new gym came, I guess you say like a merger with new members from fossil fuel. Tell me your thoughts on that a little bit.
I think it's been good. I know a lot of them were kind of worried about it because they were coming from a different situation. I don't know the full details of the operation over there, but from talking to a lot of the new members, they didn't really have a coach. There wasn't a lot of structure happening over there. They were just kind of all working out together because they were all friends, kind of like us. They were a family, so they were getting together every day, working out, having a good time. But even my initial introduction to a lot of them, I felt like they reminded me a lot of the people that we already had in our gym. Just super good, down to earth, nice.
Yeah, they're very nice, very nice.
Just cool people. All a little different, but I mean, each one kind of reminds me of people, somebody else in our gym. There's no Ross. There's no fossil fuel Ross. There's no Rossel fuel.
Thank God.
There's only one.
But I think it's been really
one.
good. It's been awesome. Just having new people is always awesome. But I mean, I can't say anything bad about anybody or the whole process has been really good. Terry, who used to own the gym, has been really helpful, and not only just kind of letting us know, some of the, personalities and nuances, some of his people have, because he really cares about them. And I can see why, but I think overall it's been really good. From talking to them, they've thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't really heard a bad thing from them either. So I think it's been really good all in all. I know there's a few initial weeks at night. It was pretty chaotic at the gym. I mean, I know there were some times I'd look around and we'd have, between the current class and the next class, there'd be, 50 plus people in the gym, which is awesome. But at the same time, it's like, oh, man, this definitely would not have worked at the old building. And that's another thing. We kind of knew that, like, if we wanted to add, even with them or just trying to acquire new members, we were going to need more space. Originally we wanted to do some separate classes at night, like some no barbell ladies classes, and those are still in the works, but most likely in the morning. But now obviously we've got too many members at night to do that, which is an awesome thing. But again, all in all, I think it's been really awesome. Really enjoyed having all the new folks in.
Definitely. 8 years ago, could you envision yourself, one, still being, I guess, in business like you are today, and two, as big as you are when you first started the gym?
The goal is to always be successful. I was super nervous opening the gym because I've never done anything like that, especially, just even going into the shoes of being, a business owner or, being responsible for a business and in a way other people, trying to help people manage their fitness. So I was super nervous. I still get nervous about that stuff to this day. I was always really quiet, shy growing up, which I think a lot of it had to do with, low self-esteem. And I still struggle with that today from an anxiety standpoint. But looking back, it's definitely, I don't want to say it's gone the way I thought it would. But again, I always hope for the best. Like I said, I was super nervous starting it. I know when I first told Lauren what we were wanting to do, she was a little nervous because when we first talked about opening the gym, like I said, it was on the way to my bachelor party because we were getting married in December, a month away. And then, 3 months after our wedding, I'm opening a business, taking a huge risk. So she was pretty nervous about it, which made me even more nervous about it. But I think it's been really good. I think we still have a lot more room to grow, improvement, a lot of things we could do better. We want to do better. but I think it's definitely kind of gone the way I'd envisioned. Maybe not as fast. I never really thought about opening another location. So some things did change from the initial plan or my initial vision or hopes for it, but I think it's gone pretty well. About like I would have expected, maybe not as well. Because again, we have had some bumps in the road, having to, close south and, losing money there, but yeah, take a phone call. But yeah, I think it's gone pretty well. I'm happy with it.
Good. Well, thinking back about like your journey of where you were to where you are now, what do you think is, I guess, the number one thing or a couple of things that you've learned about yourself or nutrition to kind of, I mean, from going to 275 to where you are now, I don't know which way, and kind of like being able to keep it off? What do you feel like attributes kind of like your success to do that?
I mean, in a lot of ways, it's similar to fitness in that you have to understand it's long term. It's it's a journey, if you will. But just knowing it's not going to be easy. It's going to be, again, it's kind of a lifetime commitment for the most part. As far as like, I mean, if you want to be successful and stick with it, you just have to be prepared to hang on. As far as how much I weigh now, I'm usually around 187, and I've been there for a minute now. But the lightest I ever got, which was back in college a long time ago, it was probably like, I think it was actually after college, maybe around 2005, I think, 2006 maybe. I got down to 160, which that was mostly from not working out and just kind of eating like super strict. So I got as light as 160, but kind of my personal comfortable healthy weight is around 185, 190. It's kind of where I like to be. But again, just kind of, and I've tried a few different diets. For the most part, my basic approach is just to kind of eat when I'm hungry, but just eat good food, like real food. Never really supplemented a whole lot, maybe with a little bit of whey protein, but I always just kind of adhere to, good eating, eat when you're hungry. I say eat until you're full, which, I mean, most of us, if we really ate until we were really full, we'd overeat a little bit. And ultimately, I mean, even nowadays, there's so many diets around. I don't think one's the best. I think some are not ideal. But you just kind of got to pick what works with your lifestyle. I've been doing intermittent fasting now for probably over a year, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I would like it because I was always a big fan of eating, throughout the day. When I wake up, you eat a small breakfast, 3 hours later, like those small window meals. Kind of after I decided to take a break from weightlifting, I kind of wanted to try something a little bit. Cause I played with it a little bit leading up to my meets just to make sure I was at the weight I wanted to be at. So like leading up to the meets, I would fast like I do now for about 3 or 4 days, and I would hit my goal weight pretty easily. And I was like, well, if this works kind of in this small window, I'm going to try it long term, which has been good. It's allowed me to be really flexible. But for me, I guess with fasting, a lot of people look at it like, well, okay, you only eat once and you can't eat from this point to this point, which is pretty true. I mean, like the whole point of fasting is like you fast for a specific amount of time. For me, I start my fast at 7 p.m. generally. Sometimes I go over depending on what's happening. Like if I coach the last class at night, but I try not to eat after 7. And I try not to eat again until about 10 a.m. But then from in that window, I still eat like 3 or 4 times. Kind of smaller meals, but a lot of protein, higher fat, not as much carbs. But that's worked for me. But overall, just between 2000 and 2000 to 2020, it's just, I've been doing it from then to now. It's just, you have to keep doing it. I think everybody, I've fallen off the wagon like a lot of people, you go through phases, holidays and stuff. And so, I've had some weight gain here and there. The heaviest I've ever gotten, and I attribute some to weightlifting training and trying to get stronger. I know there was once or twice I got up to like 205, which I was really strong, but I didn't like how I felt. I was just like, felt real heavy and sluggish. So again, for me, around where I'm at now, just kind of being consistent with the eating, which I think is the biggest thing. Hey, Ross is back.
Yeah, stupid Comcast, man. I am so ready to be done with those freaking thieves. Continue. What I miss? Fill me in.
I was just rambling about how being consistent, sticking with your diet, but it's not wrong to try things. But if you try a diet, or if you try working with Sean, you have to give it time. It's not a 1 week, a 2 week, or 3 week. I mean, you need to give it a solid 2 to 3 months before you make any kind of decision.
Educated decision.
Did it work or not?
I would say even 6 to 9 months, maybe. Like it just a
sorry.
I mean, I'm just
ultimately
longer Sean, how much time do you need?
There's so many of these quick 2, 4, 6 week challenges you see on Instagram and stuff. And I think people think that's the norm, whether it's diet, fitness, strength. But you got to really give it a good try. From Monday through Sunday. Not just I'm gonna do keto Monday through Friday, but then the weekend
I'm gonna go hell.
Yeah, so
motivation time, DB.
All right.
Let's
what else we got?
What
2 weeks motivation.
Yeah. Personal goals, I guess future plans for you, Grayson, really quick. Any kind of meets coming up? I know with the coronavirus going on and like that, were you planning anything before that? Like anything special?
No, I've kind of decided to take a hiatus from weightlifting. I still hear those birds, man.
Bro, that ain't my house anymore.
That ain't me.
Inside.
I'm inside.
No, I'm just kidding.
What we don't know is that Jared has 18 parakeets.
I believe it.
That's
and
not
one
true.
little bitty cage, all pooping on each other.
And 200 tigers.
No, I'm not doing any weightlifting meets. I actually kind of, and I've told a few people this, I kind of tweaked my shoulder at the last meet, and the only thing that it bothers me on are snatches, overhead squats. Everything else is totally fine. So I kind of decided, I don't need to snatch if I can exercise and be fit and healthy, doing 99.9% of the other things I enjoy. I'll do those. And I've also made a conscious effort to, number one, I've been doing the gym programming since back in September when we switched over. And especially once we moved into the new building because, I like it. I think it's really good. I enjoy it. And I'm trying to do a lot of the workouts with the classes, or I was. So I'm just doing general CrossFit with everybody else, just doing the gym programming, having fun with that, doing some of the competitor stuff. Sean Cupid and I have been doing a little bit of that together. So just doing good old normal CrossFit, having fun. I posted a video in the members group today just kind of talking about, my perspective on our situation and kind of my general perspective on fitness, and that it's, for me, I just want to be fit, healthy, have a good time. I always say, have fun. That's the biggest thing. If you're not having fun, you're probably doing something wrong. But just having fun, being fit, working out with my friends. I want to be doing this stuff for as long. I want to be Jerry doing CrossFit, maybe not with a mustache, but that's just a personal decision. Again, I just want to do this stuff for forever, be fit, and be able to take care of myself. I just want to be able to do anything I want to from now until, the day my kids can beat me up, which hopefully will be never. No.
I'm sure we'll do
not
that.
yet. Maybe, but.
Yeah, you're going to be an old dad. You got to stay in shape.
No meats, nothing specific. I do think for some people, though, I've always used weightlifting meets, especially in the last few years, just as a way to focus on something, because I know a lot of people get kind of bored, whether it's, CrossFit, whatever your normal workout routine. It's very easy to get bored. So I would always use that just as a reason to stay motivated, focused. Give me something to work towards. And whether it's weightlifting or if it's a CrossFit competition, if it's a mustache growing competition, it gives you something just to focus on and to, really hone in on. And so I think, utilizing that for some people is really good for training. But for me now, I'm just having fun doing the class workouts, doing these workouts now at home in my garage by myself, missing all my friends. So no real competitions or anything specific, just going with the flow and having fun.
So before we kind of transition, a good transition to kind of what we all wanted to talk about today in terms of how do we, with everything going on, continue to keep our motivation, work towards our goals, and continue to work out even while being at home without, Ross, Jared, Grayson around trying to, 5:15 class, 6:30, whatever. How do we continue to make, progress while we're at home? Because I know for a lot of people right now, it's super hard to even, get into a routine and start working out while they're at home and everything like that, especially with the home workouts not being the same as, being at the gym with lifting heavy weights or anything like that. So yeah, I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on how are you guys continuing to train? Like, how are you continuing to be motivated, and how are you continuing to work towards your goals if you have any?
Let our guests take the lead on that, and we'll follow.
I was gonna let you guys talk because I've been talking for
Ross.
This is what you do, kids. All right.
Wait, take out your notebook. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah. Take notes. Take notes. I'm looking at this personally as a time to lean up, like more body weight stuff. Cool. Might go a little bit, might lose a little bit on the strength side, but you can definitely get, more cut, more lean. You can run better.
Just say
that kind
ripped.
of thing. Getting shredded. I'm getting jacked, and I'm not telling anyone. Y'all are all gonna come back, and I'm look at this. Look at these abbies. And
just curious, why would you get more ripped doing what you're doing now compared to doing CrossFit at the gym? Just curious your opinion.
Oh, it's shit, you can do whatever, but but I'm just taking this opportunity. I'm using this as an excuse. Like, I'm not going to see anyone, and I'm going to come back and just have like a 12-pack. And everyone's going to be like, dang, what'd you do? I'll be like, nothing. Sat on the couch. Like, just got bored, Corona. So
what Sean's saying is, why would you get leaner and more aesthetically pleasing now versus just doing even harder workouts with more strength training?
He answered it fine. It's just mainly
No,
right
he
now.
didn't.
Now he did.
No, he said the same thing he did on the last one.
No.
Look.
Now he has a goal in his mind of trying to show people that he sat on his couch for months. And
there's no reason for you to be any more ripped now than
correct
you were before. You may be a little smaller, maybe a little leaner, but
no, he ain't smaller because them little knees are still aching when he does squats. He's having to use them hands to push up on his squats.
Yeah. But I ain't seen you go to a squat, like have depth in your squat yet.
I'll send you a video of me squat. I'll send you a video of me squatting 4 or 5 and blow your mind, buddy.
Let me see them handstand push-ups. See if you lock out at the top. That's a hard pass.
But Ross, have you been working out every day? Like, you find it pretty easy to maintain like a routine? Like, do you do it at the same time? Or?
He's lying already. He fished one day. He hadn't worked out every day.
I take Thursdays off. Sometimes I oversleep when I'm taking my naps. But yeah, I have. Sometimes like yesterday we didn't necessarily work out. We went and me and Tori and Drinkwater ran like 5 miles. But we're trying to try to do something. I'm going to go crazy in here just by myself if I don't do something. I do miss. I drove by Ryan's house because I was in his area, and I just stopped by and said hello to him. I tried to hug him, but we can't do that right now because he's got a kid on the way. So social distancing, that kind of thing.
What about you,
It's
Jared?
tough, man. Yeah, Jared, let's talk about you, buddy. Let's talk about how my little coyote's doing over there.
Listen, my motivation was sent out in a text message this past week. Okay, my motivation is to retire Ross after this upcoming Open. I already told him. He already has retired from competition after the last competition. When didn't y'all not even make the podium, Ross? Wasn't that what happened? Didn't y'all like finish 5th, 6th?
Yeah, you finished 3rd, so you finished the worst of the podiums.
I thought so. So anyway, he retired from competition after this past competition. I had to hear a year of his yapping at me, even though me and Grayson had full intentions to go have fun at the competition the previous year. Isn't that correct, Grayson?
It is true, even though we got screwed by some judges. But that's, it's irrelevant. It's all, it's all on the
happens.
It's all on the bridge.
It's water under the bridge, and I can look at Grayson in the eyes. I can look at Ross and Sean in the eyes and say I had a great time competing with Grayson. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. But, no, I mean, I'm just looking forward to when we are back together. As far as motivation goes, I know, like, the workouts that, up until this point when we had this break, I mean, the workouts were tough. I mean, no lie. Like, Cali Bear is awful. If any of y'all have done Cali Bear, yeah, well, it's a tough workout. I mean, we've been doing a lot of tough workouts. I think there was a workout we had right before we shut down, as a matter of fact. 2 rounds with a lot of 12 stuff. Doobie, you remember that workout? 12 overhead squats. So,
yeah, that one was rough.
It was Tommy Mack, yeah. So my motivation is just to be able to come back into the gym at the same shape or even better shape than I was. Like I've said, I've been lucky enough and blessed to have some friendships with people that are allowing me to come over, and we're all cool with being around each other. I know we are trying to practice social distancing, but we've been working out together over 2 weeks now, and none of us have gotten the coronavirus. So thank goodness. We're in good shape on that. But no, like.
Yeah, well, who thought the same thing was Joe Diffie, and look at him.
Yeah, good job.
Just lost him.
Good job, Jared.
Well, I mean,
cool. I'm just kidding.
Who's Joe Diffie?
He's probably
Joe Diffie is
the gentleman who was
who's Joe Diffie?
The ref or the judge.
Country legend.
Well,
rock me up beside the jukebox when I die.
Did we?
Ironic. Will we? I hope so.
Kenny Rogers died. I think of natural causes, but still.
Yeah.
But
everyone considered him the coward of the county. Whatever, Jared. This is more enjoyable than what
I'm finishing it up. I'm finishing my part up. No, in all reality, motivation is to retire Ross from CrossFit after this upcoming Open, and to beat William Drinkwater.
Well, you may have an
an
early chance because CrossFit is putting together kind of like a fundraiser for affiliates. I think it's just, I don't know the actual name of it, but it's going to be a 3-week online competition like the Open with 3 workouts. I was reading the email, and I think there's going to be a version if you have equipment. I'm not sure if it's like specifically certain equipment. Then there will be like an at-home division or version of the workout. So if you just have like minimal stuff, but it will be a 3-week online competition. This could be the showdown you've been waiting for.
Ross doesn't have equipment, so there's an excuse right there.
Well, you can do the at-home version.
Yeah. Hey, will Meredith let me come over as well?
It's not. I can't answer that question. I can't speak on others' behalf.
Come on, little coyote.
Look, are you guys going to face off for 3 weeks or not?
Probably not, dude. Look, Jared is competing against the guy that is not even on its radar. Like I was like, oh, cool, you're gonna beat Pam in the Open too. Like we're not competing. We're not competing.
There's his excuse. The last time somebody talked a lot of crap was Tyrell. And then when the crap hit the fan, Tyrell said, oh, you need to compete against someone better. Yeah, Tyrell, I'm giving you a shout out because you've been talking about our podcast.
Tyrell or Terrell?
Tyrell.
Tyrell, okay.
Okay. Hashtag the bad guy.
Yeah. I got it.
Yep. Deadlift, killing Thanos. Yep. But
I
anyway,
love you, Tyrell.
Yeah, we love you, Tyrell. We miss you. Times are hard.
Bro, we can talk about whatever we want to. Everyone stop listening to this video by now. How long is this? Like a 3-hour podcast? This is like
Let's just say we have 8 minutes left before we have to start again.
Jeez, that's an hour and 20 minutes. We got to wrap this shit up. What else we talking about?
All right, Grayson, what are your thoughts on continuing motivation while at home, working towards goals?
I think for some people, I mean, if it's just, staying in contact with your friends, I know there are some workouts like, that have no equipment that if you wanted to meet up, like Laredo is a good example of like a workout you could do with some friends somewhere, open space. But I think the biggest thing is just, trying to stay in communication with some of your friends. A lot of people are doing that on the Facebook page, tagging us on their workout posts on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. For me, it's just, just like before, kind of how it's been for me for a long time, it's just a part of my day. I think most everybody, no matter who you are, where you are, you can easily find 30 minutes to do something. I know the home workouts aren't as glamorous. There's no fun stuff like cleans and muscle ups and stuff. But I mean, if you just say, hey, I'm going to do this today at 5:30 and go do it. Because to me, motivation it's fleeting. I know a lot of people will rely on it for a lot of stuff. Motivation's great. Maybe one night you were, flipping through Instagram, like you see some video, somebody working out, and it inspires you to go work out at that moment, or makes you say, hey, tomorrow morning I'm getting up, get and go work out. So motivation is great, but if you just wait for motivation all the time, you're going to be waiting for a long time. So nothing wrong with waiting for motivation, but I think if you just make the decision, and if that's even just having an accountability partner, like if I text her off and say, hey man, tomorrow morning I'm going to work out at 6 a.m. How about you work out too? Even though we're not together, that may just kind of keep us both, because you're expecting them to work out. It's not the best solution right now.
Nah, he won't respond to your text message.
He won't. But I don't know. For me, it's just, I've worked out a long time since we opened the gym by myself in between classes. Still do a lot now, but I try and work out with the classes. And I can say it's 100,000% better working out with people, the classes. It's fun. It's awesome. But again, I know, for me to stay healthy and active, you just got to make the time. Again, not easy for some people to do. But just right now, you got to make it a priority. Stop watching Tiger King for, an hour, go outside in your garage. Tiger King's going to be there when you get back, I promise. But just making conscious decisions, effort.
So you're talking about like motivation as opposed to dedication.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Doobie, since we do have our fine guest on this evening, can I please ask him two questions? Two questions of the day. There he is. Grayson, this is a special time of the day. Question of the day. Now we've got two for you today. Question number one. Who is more fit, or excuse me, that's not, who can squat more? Question posed to you. Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, or Ross Wheatley?
Joe has a bum leg. Like
he has a
and he's in jail. He's in jail.
Hey. He's always squinting.
Number two. Who wins in a street fight? Our friend tatted up Zach Biggie or Joe Exotic?
They're both tatted up.
I feel like Joe Exotic would
release a tiger.
No.
Joe shoot you.
If you've watched Tiger King and you're up to at least episode 4 or 5,
I shoot you.
Continue listening. If you haven't, turn this off now. I feel like Joe Exotic would flash all the sweet tea and
The M&Ms.
and M&Ms and all the goodies Zach likes, and would seduce him and promptly marry him.
How straight are you, Zach?
Yeah. So it'd be a draw because they'd be in love.
Final question. Who's your most handsome friend?
Ryan Saxton.
You gotta be shitting me. I'm out here.
We got about 3 minutes left. Any final thoughts?
Doobie, what are you looking forward to?
Amarillo by morning.
To what?
Go ahead.
Or excuse me, your 2-week motivation that we just talked about.
Well, I'll sum it up quickly because we got 3 minutes. But basically, a combination of what everyone said. Number one, I think Grayson touched on it really quickly on have a goal, because if you don't have a goal, it's very easy to kind of lose motivation and stop working out and everything like that. So still have a goal. 2, set a routine. You might not have work right now and you might be sitting at home a lot. Try to work out at the same time every day. Set some type of routine, whether it's the same time or a different time. And 3, motivation's BS. I don't think motivation comes and goes. All you have to do is just continue to take action. Once you take action, you'll get results, and results leads to motivation. So
quote that. Put him in a book, people.
Clip it.
Don't rely on motivation. Just schedule a routine and keep doing it. So, but have a goal.
Awesome.
Either get lean like Ross, aka
chicken and broccoli,
or focus on competition like Jared, or focus on nothing like Grayson. Either way, have a goal.
Have a goal.
My goal is to have a goal.
To be fitter than Will. We know. All right. Last minute. Anything else? Thank you, Grayson, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Hey, can I
sharing your story?
Can I sing Amarillo by morning for the last minute?
Absolutely not. Anyone else?
Copyright problems.
If you haven't seen it, go check it out on Facebook. Everybody did a drive-by to Jerry's house. It was awesome. Pretty cool thing. So those of you who did that, I didn't get to participate, but I saw it. That's awesome. Thank y'all for doing that.
Yeah, where were you?
I was in the war zone.
Bull.
All right, make sure you guys
social distancing.
Unbelievable.
Amarillo by morning.
Stop.
Right,
anyways, the episode's ending. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. 601 sessions.
That I've got.
Oh God, let's end it here. All right, we're done. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't listen to Ross anymore, please. All right, bye guys. Thank you, Grayson.
Thank you, Grayson. Mashed potatoes.
But Lord, I'm free. Amarillo by morning.